Okay, so here's my model now with the detail added. So as you can see, I haven't gone too overboard with it. I put some screws, those look pretty cool all around it. Probably went a little bit overboard, but just to show you, to give you an idea. But I purposely didn't put anything on this breastplate. I wanted to keep it all quite clean, and I wanted sort of symmetry. The legs, I guess they're going to be held on pretty securely, and the arm, this top plate, you can imagine being one kind of unit, and obviously joints, little screws down this side to hold those. Big screws on the knee areas. It's going to take a lot of stress and sort of grommet things in there to indents, screw indents to go in there, or where it's been welded together. Done the little nipple area there. Just thought that looked quite cool. And a few more around the head, which is going to be properly armoured, with some little ports in the back, maybe for putting some wires in. Okay, so we looked at the detailing there, but let's now do some base stamps for him. So we're going to stamp him with a product serial number, as it were. So I'm going to go into Photoshop, and we're going to do a new canvas, which we're going to set 500 by 500, 72 on RGB, with a white background colour. Now I'm going to just select my colour picker, and I want to set these ranges to 256, halfway between 0 and 256, which is roughly 128. So these are set on 128, 128, and again 128, and we can click OK for that. And the reason I set that in absolutely mid between white and black is because ZBrush looks at the mid-range as flat, and it looks at the white as the highest point and the black as the lowest point. So at this point I can also do a mode change to grayscale and discard the colour information. Now I can start to create my little area that's going to be a little sort of like template. So I'm going to pick the rounded rectangular tool. I'm certainly going to come up here and create a new layer, and I'm going to drag out a kind of plate for it, which will go like that, and then I'm going to right hand click and I'm going to rasterize my layer. At the moment I'm in this grey colour, but I'm going to come to layers, layer style, and I'm going to go to colour overlay, and I'm going to select a white. Okay, so that's going to be my highest point. I'm now going to get this. I'm thinking about putting a little drop shadow behind it so it knocks in a little bit. So I can do that. I can go to layers, or an outer glow, so it goes around the whole thing. You want to definitely make sure that it's not sharp. It might seem a bit weird, but actually to put a little bit of a blur around it actually will help it to be smoother and sharper. Otherwise you can get some jagged lines. So that's kind of like what we got at the moment. So that's our base plate. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to do a new layer now, and I'm going to get this layer. I'm going to press Ctrl E to drop it down. This will take that all those layer options off. Now I'm going to come into my text tool, and I'm going to type in here Cytec, and I'm going to make that a bit darker so it drops in. So Cytec, so we can type whatever we like in here. Serial come to my characters, I'm selecting both of these, and I'm going to put it on auto, although I might change that later. I'm going to drop this to might change the font, although a nice solid bold font works quite well. Legion's quite good. Serial A001A. Oh, I'm going to do that in a different font, you can't really see it. I think I'll choose a kind of century for this, something like that. Make it bold, and I'll make it smaller. Cytec Industries. And now you can make up whatever you like. And you can add whatever you like in here, so you could put like a little fingerprint on there if you wanted to. But basically that should be it to get you going. I'm going to just transform this to try and fill it a little bit, like this. Okay, now I'm going to create a new layer. I'm just going to do a duplicate this layer just in case I've got to come back and modify it, and Control E that. Now I'm going to go to filter, I'm going to add a little bit of noise to it. Also want to do the same for this one, so I'm going to create a new layer above the patch layer that we've got there, and I'm going to simply get a brush and do a few little stamp marks. This will roughen it up. Pick any old brush to do this. Come in and pick a darker colour. Just roughen some of those areas up in there. Then I'm going to select the layer around there. Come up there, and I'm just going to delete this stuff that's around the outside. So that's what you've got. I think I also, that's going to be really high, that's going to be really low. Am I happy with it being that low? Well, I can adjust it. I could go to new layer, and I could pick a not quite white colour and drop that in, and then use a lighten or a darken over the top, and then I can just adjust that accordingly. But let's say that I'm happy with that, so I could now save this as stamp and output that onto my desktop like so. Now I can come back in here, I can grab a standard brush and a drag rectangle, and I could import my new alpha, which is stamp, and we can have a look at that. So let's just zoom in and drag this out, so you've got a kind of stamp going on there. just adjust this, go to my alpha. I want to maximize range, and I definitely want to put a little bit of a radius on this. That's too much. Okay, so we've got a problem here. We've got this circle appearing. So we can change that by adjusting the mid-range. It's not enough. Let's take it up there. That's better. So go back to. Perfect. So by adjusting the mid-range there, you can get rid of that outside. It basically jutters the grey colour up or down slightly. So I'm happy with that stamp. So now I'm just going to do him a little stamp. Where would the stamp be? Let's just say he's kind of stamped on the hardest part of the model. Let's turn off symmetry. Maybe increase this a little bit. I don't know, it's not looking right there. Or maybe it would be underneath the wrist or something. On the wrist area. Let's have a think about this. Maybe he would be tracked. Then the tracking mechanism would be in the head. That could work. So, with that in mind, I'll put a little stamp in there. Actually, I'm not happy. I'm going to blur it slightly. Just gets rid of that little lineage there. So there you go. There's a little stamp on his head. So that's a basic step into doing these kind of little stamps and these kind of things in Photoshop. Okay, right, I'll see you in the next lesson where we'll start poly painting this character, finishing it up, and then we're finished.